After slow and limited gains, Ukraine is focusing on securing better positions to prepare for the 2024 campaign. With only weeks to go before winter arrives, the war in Ukraine is entering a decisive phase as Kyiv's forces try to make as much progress as possible before the rain, snow and bitter cold slows them down. The Ukrainian counteroffensive was expected to start in spring but was delayed due to a shortage of military equipment and munitions. Since then, Ukraine has made slow and limited gains, with the counteroffensive at times reaching an impasse due to Russia's formidable multilayered defenses across the 600-mile front line. Ukrainian troops are forced to advance through minefields, trenches and anti-tank ditches, as well as rows of dragon's teeth, spiky pyramids of concrete that impede the movement of tanks and other armored vehicles. Much of Ukraine's counteroffensive has been focused on the southern front line, with an aim of retaking occupied territory in the Kherson, Zaporizhzhia and Donetsk regions. Despite the setbacks, Ukrainian forces are making progress in exhausting the Russian military by targeting its equipment, personnel and logistics, which serve to weaken its defense capabilities. Russia is losing on average tens of armored vehicles and artillery and air defense systems, as well as hundreds of soldiers, every day, analysts at the European Council on Foreign Relations, ECFR, have said in a recent assessment of the war. The Institute for the Study of War, ISW, a Washington-based think tank, reported last week that Ukrainian armored vehicles were operating beyond the final line of Russia's three-layered defense in the Zaporizhzhia region near the village of Robotyne. It said geolocated footage indicated that Ukrainian armored vehicles advanced south of the Russian anti-tank ditches and dragon's teeth obstacles that are part of a tri-layered defense, and engaged in limited combat west of the village Verbov. The ISW, however, said it was unclear whether Ukraine was able to retain the new positions. It noted that Vladimir Rogov, a Russian installed official in the occupied Zaporizhzhia region, claimed on Tuesday that at least 4 Ukrainian military units with a significant number of armored vehicles stormed Russian positions along the Robotyne-Verbov line after conducting a massive artillery barrage. Elsewhere, Ukrainian forces have made Crimea another key objective in its counteroffensive, with an escalation of attacks in recent weeks against the occupied peninsula. An attack on the headquarters of the Russian Black Sea Fleet in the port city of Sevastopol last week inflicted serious damage on the naval base's main building, with Kyiv claiming the precision strike killed dozens of officers. Ukraine's attacks on Russia's Black Sea Fleet are scoring tactical victories one after another, degrading the force, undermining Russia's Black Sea blockade and making Russia's occupation of Crimea increasingly untenable, Stephen Blank, a senior fellow at the Foreign Policy Research Institute, wrote in an opinion article in The Hill. The Ukrainian forces must continue advancing through the next lines of defense on the southern front line towards the strategically important cities of Tokmak and Melitopol, ECFR analysts say. The incoming winter will transform the battlefield into a muddy terrain that complicate ground operations, making Ukraine's demands for more long-range cruise missiles and fighter jets all the more urgent. The delivery of F-16 jets by the Netherlands, Denmark, and Norway, expected early next year, would provide air cover for Ukrainian troops and intercept Russian aircraft and missiles, ECFR analysts added, therefore downgrading Russia's air superiority and accelerating the pace of the Ukrainian offensive.